One Piece is long. One Piece is very, very long. One Piece is over 1,000 chapter episodes, minutes long, but is it worth it? Let's find out. As someone who formerly dominated the One Piece anime space, uploading over 80 videos on it, I know a thing or two about it, and even though my reign of terror is over, my knowledge still stands. So anime being long used to not be an issue and was pretty common between Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Bleach. Well, Bleach kinda, the whole situation. But now the trend of seasonal anime came, and at first I wasn't really with, because without it, you get more episodes and you actually remember what's going on. Like, I don't even know, like, what's gonna happen when we jump back in Chainsaw Man? I don't even remember. Like, that show's crazy. The first episode of season 2 is gonna be like, what is happening here? But then long-running weekly anime started running into issues, and the issue that should not be named is, of course, filler. And 1 minute Naruto is fighting Madara, and the next thing you know, he's young again, trying to find Kakashi's real face, and like, what is going on? But One Piece is unique in the fact that it approaches issue in a different way, a more unique way, and honestly a more cynical way. They slowed the pacing down, and I mean they slowed the pacing down to an extreme effect, having fights and conversations that lasted mere panels in the manga all of a sudden span episodes and episodes, slowing down to 0.5 chapters an episode at one point. Now this is good because there's no fillers, but bad because you actually have to watch this somewhat filler-ish content, because it's not like you can just skip the episodes because something is happening even if it's just slow. And this somehow makes you prefer filler, because at least with filler you can just not watch for a couple months and check back in when you get the real stuff. But nonetheless, you knew that coming into this video, and while people may complain about the pacing, it's still touted as one of the greatest manga / anime of all time, besides Kagurabachi, of course, because who can compete with Kagurabachi? And what if I told you there's some merit to the fact that One Piece is special and it has aspects that are impossible to replace and replicate, and honestly represent what makes anime in the medium so great, because One Piece makes you feel something and light a fire inside of you. So let's get into it. In order to properly get the scope of One Piece, I'm gonna have to give you a super simple synopsis of the story. Main character Luffy wants to be the Hokage, Wizard King, King of the Pirates, and then he forms a new crew, and they're trying to get to the One Piece that is the last island on this route, and the more you go down the route, the stronger the pirates get. Now, before some nerd types up complaining, relax. Not everyone's watched 1,000 episodes. That's just something to give them some scope with. But to understand what makes it so different is that this crew is formed organically through long runs of episodes of each character, and for the most part, they're all given their own arc. To name a few, Usopp in Zero Village, where you learn that although he's weak and honestly useless, he's good-natured and wants to be a brave warrior of the sea. Sanji, although he's owed his life to Zeph, has become a cage bird that needs to find his own way. Robin, who has been hunted her whole life, finally found a family and a group of people to care about her. All the characters are treated delicately in a way that you understand them inside and out and know what makes them tick. With every character, they're uniquely different and each have their own motivations, and this is how One Piece accomplishes its first of 3 great achievements I'll speak on. Whilst you see the crew interact with one another, you start to feel yourself relating to them in your own life in terms of teams and friend groups. And I mean, hey, this sounds weird, but how many times have you won a big game and want to celebrate after? Or in your case, you got your ass beat on Valorant, and just like at the end of every arc, the Strawhats go on to party all night long and they turn up. That man Zoro could go shot for shot with anyone. And dedicating episodes to this and taking time to develop human connections with these characters, creating a feeling of wanting to watch these characters do anything, whether they're fighting or not. And this offsets a lot of the issues with pacing, because you feel connected to them in this way and have this feeling of wanting to watch them grow and develop and accomplish their dreams. Because that's the other big thing, is they all have their own individual dream and you're watching them trying to accomplish that. And that being said, some of them are kind of but a lot of them are long standing and have to do everything that every arc, every moment, and they'll always be working towards it regardless of what's going on in terms of the short-term story. Now to the second huge accomplishment, foreshadowing and payoffs. Now I'm not going to speak too much on detail on this because obviously spoilers. I'll give you an example I used earlier, and this leans way more into the payoff side, because how can you not spoil a foreshadowed event, I guess. For Robin, right? She first appears in Alabasta, ends up joining the crew, and you don't really know anything about her past when she joins, and she goes on for about 200 episodes of nothing, and then you get a whole arc on her where you realize that she's been tortured her whole life and forced to run away because her home island was literally nuked to bits and her mom got shot right in front of her. And this is all happening after she essentially gets kidnapped by the antagonist of that arc, and while he's torturing her, he's telling her that he's gonna kill her new family, the Straw Hats. This leads to this super grand moment of accomplishment and jubilation after this complete turnaround from all this negativity you're getting on this character that literally just smiled a couple times and had some funny interactions. Now, I don't want to say what it is because of spoilers, and it's probably a top 5 moment in the whole series, but you'll know it when you see it. And this is just what Oda does, and everything in One Piece matters. And all of a sudden, you're in one of the most intense moments in the series, and One Piece delivers these big moments time and time again, especially with the long build-ups. There has to be some level of payoff, and One Piece always knocks it out of the park due to the fact that every character and moment is written in a level of depth where at times you can't even believe what you're reading. And if you don't deliver the big moments, you just become an isekai, and isekai are all terrible, every last one of them, except Mushoku Tensei. But without big moments hitting, why are we watching shonen? And also, there's definitely an element of Stockholm Syndrome for sure. Like, I just watched 60 episodes of nothing. I will like the final fight regardless. The third accomplishment of One Piece is it has to be the world, and this is likely the best world in anime. Honestly, there's a lot of issues I have with One Piece that probably have come from how many videos I made on it, but Jesus Christ, I don't think anyone will ever dispute the fact that One Piece has the best world in anime. Hell, it might even have the best world in fiction. Every island is vastly unique and influenced by something. Alabasta, a casino in the desert, sounds like Vegas. Dressrosa is Spain, filled with Gaudi architecture. Wano is literally Japan. Zo is a walking elephant. Whole Cake Island is an island made of desserts, and Water 7 is like Venice times 1,000. And not only is the world fast, but you feel the impact it has on the stories. There's a news system in One Piece, and it makes you feel like when something is happening on one island, everyone around the world is affected by it. For example, whenever Luffy is progressing throughout the story, the news always gets back to the people in the original island of the East Blue, and the islands feel as much of characters as any other subject in the story. You actually care to see how these islands develop and how they move on after the Strawhats leave them. And One Piece creates this feeling while you're watching it, like you're being transported into another grand adventure, and it genuinely motivates you to change your life and do everything possible to become free of any pressure, free of any burdens, and free to do whatever you want whenever you want, and always bringing your friends along the way. And it makes you think back to relationships and understand that no one can do anything alone, and it paints this picture on a beautiful canvas that is the islands and shatters your mind time and time again. Now that that dialogue's over, I'm sure a lot of you are coming from the live action, or you watch everything about One Piece and just wanted to hear what I have to say. So I would definitely say, of course, it is worth the experience, and it of course has its flaws, but I'm sure it will leave you speechless and leave you feeling moved, leave you feeling like this is why you watch anime, this is why you watch shonen, and leave you connected to somebody, because every character represents someone of interest, someone in your life, and they may even represent you. So it's impossible to not feel connected to this story. And on top of that, it's well written in a level of detail where you're exploring this world that has a deep history, all the while with people you care about, as well as a story that's over 30 years in the making. And it will definitely, if nothing else, it will make you feel something. So if you want to watch another video on something else you should watch, why don't you check out this one on Mushoku Tensei? And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, and don't forget, we're just getting started, we're gonna stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.